Hey everybody, welcome to Landscape Rescue. My name's Stuart Moore. I'm here at Lowe's doing a little clearance shopping. So they've got some stuff on sale that I thought would be fun to look at. What's happening, man? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Absolutely.
So right now, Lowe's has their Lowe's brand Daylilies, which anything in a black pot. It's not Proven Winners, it's not Monrovia. Those non-patented varieties that they have a grower grow for them, 3 for $10. So they're $3.33 a piece, which for a daylily is a stupid great deal. Final touch daylily. Now this is going to be a taller daylily, so it's going to be the ones where they get those big, tall stalks on them. Not as much foliage as the stalk, so the stalk gets taller than the foliage, unlike a Stella d'Oro, which the stalk will pop up, the flower will pop up just a little bit higher, but there's a lot of foliage there, which is pretty because I think daylilies, I can use daylilies to kind of just break up the eye line a little bit and get that grass texture out of them, even though they are kind of fan shaped. If I want that contrast and texture, I can use a daylily to do that. So daylilies are great for that purpose. Look how pretty that is for $3.33. It's a steal. And all my contractor buddies out there, if you're in the area, because I know how many Stellas you guys use, I know how many daylilies you guys use, like Johnny Appleseed for daylilies. All right, I found some Stella d'Oro daylilies for, in the black pot, $3.33, right? So 3 for $10. Unfortunately, I would not take this to a job. So if I was doing this at your house, I would not bring this daylily to you. I would spend a little bit more money. Now, my house, it's a completely different story. I don't know, they're just not, I mean, there's a couple in here that look okay, but this is just not, this is not commercially viable. I couldn't take this to a job site. But for my yard, I could do that, right? For $3, I could take these Stellas, these would do, especially for a long kind of rolling hedge of daylilies. I think that would look really pretty, and that'd be a good price for them. Here you have Autumn Joy Sedum. Now Autumn Joy Sedum is, again, pretty stinking tough. Poor soils, very little water. It likes drier climates. So if you're struggling keeping stuff alive, like you'll see this in the island at, you know, a department store. Just no irrigation, probably been driven over a couple times. Autumn Joy Sedum for $3.33 is a fantastic deal, like a stupid good deal. If you get 3 for $10 and you put some of these in a triangle, right? So you have these $10 triangles popped around in your landscape. Especially if you've already had those beds built and you're just looking for stellar deals, today's the day. This is a good deal. I've already blown my budget like 3 times and I don't even have a cart yet. So this is Flame Pink Garden Phlox. So you'll refer to creeping phlox or garden phlox is kind of how you break those two up, where creeping phlox is that evergreen ground cover that's fantastic, that does a great job here in the Ozarks. It does have a tendency to get a little weedy, so I say if you're going to do ground cover phlox, make sure you're doing a pre-emergent and just being really careful to get those weeds as soon as they pop up through. Speedwell is another tough perennial. I'm a fan. It gets these upright flower stalks on it. Very, very pretty. Kind of reminds me of salvia, except it has a more long, slender, kind of serrated leaf on them. And that's a good deal. I mean, for $3, anytime you're getting a 1-gallon perennial for under $10, you're killing it. Variegated Liriope. Now, Variegated Liriope isn't going to spread as crazy as the big blue varieties. Variegated stuff just adds a little bit more character to the garden. And they grow pretty good in shade also, so that variegation will brighten up a shady spot. A nice hedge of Liriope is kind of hard to beat, so your front layer could be the Variegated Liriope. I think if you use the 2-year fertilizer tablets, those Scott's Agriform fertilizer tablets, which by the way, They don't pay me anything to say that. I've just been using them for 2 decades, and I absolutely love them. 2-year fertilizer tablets is kind of my secret. That and the beneficial fungus and beneficial bacteria inoculant. I put 2-year fertilizer tablets on each side of one of these, or if I'm doing a long run, one on each side, right? And then I'll put one on the other side of that one. They really work out very well. Variegated Liriope, not as invasive. You put some 2-year fertilizer tablets on there, they really show up to the party, and they do well to fill a space, and you can be cohesive with it, right? So you can go from shade right into sun, back into shade with something like that, and you would still have that beautiful border. And follow this up with something that's gonna bloom pretty, and it's gonna get maybe 24 inches tall or 16 inches tall. Something that's going to be putting up big spikes would be great, especially something yellow to offset these purple spikes on the Liriope. But I feel like the blooms, not really that impressive to me. They're evergreen, so you kind of keep this color all year long. First thing, early spring, you want to trim these back. I trim them down to about 2 inches, usually with my hedge trimmers. I just trim them down, and it seems to rake it up or remulch. Seems to work out great. Verbena. What a great perennial to have in the garden. Verbena's cool, man. Likes the sun. Once it's established, it's really hard to beat a verbena in the landscape, especially if you like that prairie flower feel. I like to have these a little bit more up front, my taller stuff like black-eyed Susans and things in the back, but these pink blooms really show up against yellow. I think they bring a lot to the table. And here's the thing, verbena's deer resistant. So those of you who have deer issues, verbena might be a good way to go. Verbena for $3, a fantastic deal. Mango popsicle red hot poker. Isn't this cool? Look at this. How pretty is that? Now, and it's got cool foliage, so it kind of looks like a succulent almost, like a yucca, like some of those yuccas that have the more curled leaves. For $13, it would be a specimen piece. You would only need one. So you see this little bucket here, this cute little plastic bucket? It's plastic. It looks like kind of like wood, but you can obviously from a distance tell it's plastic. Cheyenne Spirit Coneflower. This is the one that changes colors. One flush will be one color, and then as the pups develop underneath and they start flowering, those will be a different color than the parent plant, and so every year you don't know what you're going to get. Cheyenne Spirit is not for the formal landscape where you can create a formal setting with color, right? Mass. That's kind of my thing. I like massive action. Cheyenne Spirit's a good way to create a whimsical feeling to your landscape. Boy, it's starting to rain good. Here, let's look. $28.98. So let's just estimate $30 because it's easy for my small brain to remember. $30. So for $30, you can get a Cheyenne Spirit Echinacea, and there's probably 2 plants in there. And you get a cheap little pot that you're probably not going to use for anything. The reason there's Echinacea in that small of a pot is because they can handle a drier situation, because that pot you're going to water twice a day. There's some Echinacea. So this is like discount Echinacea, $8.98. We look at their little chart here. Between $5 and $9.99, it's going to be $4. So for $4, you could get, I mean, think about that. There's 30 of them. You can at least get 6 of the Echinacea and put them in your landscape and let them just thrive. All right, guys. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this video short. Thank you very much for watching, but it's raining and this camera is a lot more expensive than the discount plants I'm buying. All right, talk to you later.